Investors remain bullish on India's long-term growth story. That's the word from KPMG Global Chairman on the sidelines of ETGBS Summit. Ruchi Bhatia again caught up with Bill Thomas, who believes clarity in reforms will drive more investments and that the government should continue with its reform push. Listen in.
Long-term investors will be looking for long-term assets, and they'll be looking for a higher rate of return than they would otherwise get in a different market. And I think a market like India today, with what's going on here, is a really attractive investment.
You know, while I totally get that point, in fact, you in a recent article also said that while the rest of the world evaluates India, the country must continue to recalibrate to take its seat at the top for global business. And if that happens, I, for one, will be cheering louder than ever. Why the need for recalibration if India is doing so much on reforms?
Well, because I think the reforms are great, but they are the start, not the end. And I think that you know, the pushing forward with continued efforts to make it easy to do business here, I think has got to be the ambition of the country to reach its maximum potential.
Ever since the Modi government has come in, 4 years for them in power, they've really walked the talk on a lot of reforms, GST being one, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code being another one. They've recapitalized the PSU banks. In a way, how has that really changed India's growth potential? How is the world seeing India now?
Well, I think what you've alluded to, I've been really struck by the execution capability. So it's one thing to announce the kinds of reforms that you're talking about. It's another thing to actually execute on them and get them done. And I think that's been very, very persuasive in the global investing community. But if you have insolvency reform that allows people to invest in a country knowing that if things don't go as well as they originally hoped or thought, that there's an appropriate way out, then that's huge. If you think about tax reform, it creates clarity around the cost to an investor. So these kinds of things really do drive clarity and certainty, which is what drives investment. And I think it's working very well.
You know, since we were talking about what's really happening around the globe and India, and while the global economy is going through a churn, how should India fill that void?
Well, the beauty is I mean, India's right now the fastest growing major economy in the world. FDI at an all-time high. I mean, there's no doubt there's momentum in this country, and as you know, momentum creates more momentum. So the importance is to deliver on the expectations, and what that means, I think, is you don't get complacent, and you continue to push for the ease of doing business type of reforms that certainly are being pushed here.